right, welcome in. Bettor's Last Stand. Matt and Chris here with you on I don't even know what to call today. It's a lovely Wednesday, yes. I guess. It's decent temperature out there, a little sunshine, but not too hot, so I'll take it as we get ready to head into another week of exciting sports action, playoff baseball. Hockey started last night. Didn't turn out the way we had hoped. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But coach is out on assignment somewhere. I think he's got a pickleball meeting tonight, so something like that. But we will continue on. He gave me some plays this morning that he likes in the various football leagues, whatever. Not the word I was trying to think of. Principles, I don't know. Something along those lines. College and pro football, yes. Whatever, what have you. Recapping last week's Bettor's Last Stand picks. We'll go over those here in just a minute. But remember, we got Football Friday. If you're just tuning in here on a Friday morning, flip over to the Watchdog, and you'll hear us live from Gumby's in Moundsville this week, 12 to 3. We'll be talking about all the high school.
County, huh?
Yeah, we're back to Marshall County. So
well, you probably won't get as many honks, even though there was a lot of I stopped down that day, and quite a few people going in and out, but they weren't honking the way they do out in Elm Grove.
Yeah, it's not. we're kind of tucked away off the main drag, but we'll be out there for the next couple of weeks. And as Football Fridays begin to wind down, we're already into the late stages of the Ohio season, and West Virginia is winding down as well. So hard to imagine. Duggar's Saucy Spread Week 8 this week as well. We'll recap all the games, preview all the games, talk about the picks, the standings, all that kind of stuff. So tune in, Football Friday, good stuff. And don't forget our show regularly on the Watchdog on Tuesdays Mondays and Tuesdays. Monday 2 to 3, Tuesdays noon to 3, and then eventually we'll probably be returning to Thursdays the noon to 3 after the football season. So we obviously have the Friday show 12 to 3 during the football year. So that kind of, I think that's everything that I need to mention as far as the Watchdog goes. And the other things, thanks to IC Cav for being a sponsor. We also appreciate Gumby's and Jill's Gentlemen's Club, who sponsor our Football Friday shows. All right, recapping last week's action, we weren't quite as good as we were 2 weeks ago, but we were pretty good anyway. So we were up about 11, almost 12 units, 11.75. Sam was 2-1 in both the F1 and the NASCAR. Coach 4-4 in college, 5-2 in the NFL, plus 240 on his RI. Chris, you 4-4 in college, but you're a 5-0 in the NFL. Pretty damn good there.
Finally bounced back a little bit after a couple bad weeks. And
well, 5-0 in the NFL is not easy to do. That's including your best bet too. So you're plus 350 on the week, which is wonderful. I was 4-4 in college, 3-3 in the NFL, 1-1 in the Premier League, 3-1 in NASCAR, 1-1 in Formula One. Best bets on the year now. I am 4-2. I was 1-1 this week. Coach 2-2. You are 1-2-1. So we continue to have those up on our social media at the Pine Room Studios, BLS_PRP on Twitter or X. So pretty solid week for us. We'll take it. Whenever you're up 11 or 12 units, you'll gladly take that because this stuff's not easy. And it's interesting, and Coach isn't here, but I was hoping he was here because I wanted to talk about these other service plays. So I have a site where I look at these and track some of they track some of these service plays, and so we were up about 12 units last week. And just to give you an idea, that we're not all that bad. The Mark Lawrence playbook has actually been pretty solid. He was in his 4 stars his 5 stars on the season in college football. He's 4-2. He's 5-1 in his 4 stars. NFL 5 stars, 2-3. 4 stars, 2-3. Those are on the season, so they don't always give those out. Point wise, this week was 2-6 with our top rated plays. That's terrible. Their 1 stars, which is their top play on the season in college football, are 8-4, and in the NFL, their top plays have been 3-2. Power sweep was 0-5 last week with our best bets. College football 4 stars on the season, 2-4. NFL 4 and 5 stars, 2-7. Again, I'm not trying to slight any of these people, but I'm just trying to let people realize we're free for now. I think Coach wants us to go to not free, but we'll continue to be free for the foreseeable future. But our plays really aren't that bad. Power plays 4 and 4.5 stars, 19 and 26 on the season. I know we're better than that. Red Sheet 7-18 on the season in college football.
That's terrible.
1-4 in the NFL. Phil Steele, coach's boy, 37-3, and he's regarded as one of the best. NFL 4-6 on the season for Phil Steele. Gridiron Gold 2-6 in college football, 2-2 in the NFL this past week. Victor King has been very good. I think he only does totals. He's been 11-4 in his total best bets for the NFL season so far. So Mark Lawrence playbook and Victor King seem to have been the two. Their numbers are pretty good, so props to those guys. But just putting it into perspective, when you're out there buying these service plays, these guys don't know any more than we know right here. Or they really don't. They may get a tip on a game once a year that they have a good source on, but these guys are just taking your money. They're just stealing from you.
I'm so glad you put that out there, because I always wondered, and I know it's not as prevalent as it once was. I remember waking up Sunday morning and those guys are all over the TV.
Right.
And
Jim
this
Fleiss,
is my
Scott Spreitzer,
and those guys
Dave
they're
Koken.
and
honestly, those guys, to be honest, I think a lot of those guys, and I've heard them on radio shows, they're actually pretty good bettors. Like, they're decent handicappers and bettors, but I don't know if they're service plays. I don't know how it works, but to me, it just doesn't seem worth the money. I'm not taking anything away from those guys. They've made a living in the industry, so you can't knock them for that. But like you were saying, they're telling you that these guaranteed winners, that's just really hard to do.
And they can sell themselves. So,
right.
If you're a bettor and you're you're really not sure, and if
you're desperate too.
Right, exactly. So if you're going to rely on what they're telling you, and you just pointed out all these statistics, it's not always those guys aren't cracked up.
Yeah, I mean,
what they say they are,
because it's hard. I mean, that's what no one ever wants to tell you, is that this is not easy to do. And there's only certain ways that you can win. And if you're not disciplined, you have zero chance. So if people are out there just being casual bettors, then that's fine. You're looking for a couple winners here and there, and you're out watching games just to have a little bit of fun. But if you're actually going to try to make money in it, you really need to go back to the drawing board and get a serious plan together, because it's really difficult. And there's not a whole lot of areas where you can win. There are some betting tips that I want to talk about a little bit later in the show, that we'll go over some things that kind of go along with that people should look out for if they're trying to get into this. All right, Major League Baseball, let's recap that a little bit right now. Texas knocked out the Orioles last night. The Orioles, it's my fear all season. They just don't have frontline starting pitching, and in the playoffs, you got to have that. It's just simple as that.
But they gave up a boatload of runs too, didn't they?
Well, I mean, the first game, Bradish threw well. They had all kind of chances. Chapman, they let him off the hook in that game. On Saturday, they got a good starting pitching performance out of Kyle Bradish with the other two games now.
Yeah.
Their guys just aren't ready for this. Grayson Rodriguez is a top prospect, and he's going to be really good, but he's not ready to pitch, in a big-time situation. And then last night, Kramer with his family in Israel, was a terrible idea by Brandon Hyde to put him out there. He's got a lot on his mind that showed.
Yeah.
But I was never expecting anything out of them this year. Thought maybe they could, scrape out a playoff appearance. They did better than that. Really good regular season team, good roster, well designed from the front office of how to put it together. But they got to go out and spend for a couple arms. They have to.
Will they?
They won't. They won't. Angelos is very cheap. He's cheaper.
Yeah.
He has lower payroll than the Pirates. When all these Oriole guys go to free agency, it's going to be a sick day in Baltimore. I don't want to think about that. But yeah, they're all going to get just picked off by the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and you're going to see it. I mean, they're going to have like 8 guys who are going to be, in maybe the best prospects at their position across the board starting next year. If you even count half the roster that was from this year, and their best guy, Jackson Holliday, is not even up. So-called best guy. I have a hard time believing that he's going to be better than Gunnar Henderson or Adley Rutschman. But if he even is close to them, you're getting like 3. I don't even know what to compare it to in modern day baseball of when you've had 3 guys that were as good as that. It'd be like Ohtani, Trout, and then you had Judge on the same team or something.
Right.
If the guys pan out. But if you don't have any pitching, look at the Angels. They're a perfect example. Yes. You got Trout, and you got Ohtani can only do so much as a pitcher. But you didn't support those guys at all with any pitching and no bullpen. So the Orioles are bright, but I don't know. They have a bright future, but if they don't want to decide to at least spend what the Pirates spend, then that's a problem to me. The Rays spend more than them. That's never good. So I'm hopeful that maybe they'll want to try to go for it and at least win one World Series and try to acquire. They need like a 1A and a 1B type starter is what they got to have. And if they don't, You're just going to wait for all these young guys to get experience, and you're going to lose in the meantime. So we'll see. The interesting thing that I thought that the time off has really been a topic of conversation. 3-7 straight up for the teams that had the buys. Top 5 records in the league are just 1-10 so far, and that one win was the Braves coming back the other night and winning against the Phillies when they were down. So that's says something. The time off leads to some rust. These guys aren't seeing live pitching, and as hot as they may have been, they cool off quickly. So I don't know what to think. The Dodgers are facing elimination tonight. The Braves, they got that series tied up at 1, but it wasn't easy. And maybe they carry some momentum back to Philly, but that's really hard. Overs have been 6-4 so far in the division series, and the road teams are 7-3, which goes along with the rest factor. Chris, any thoughts on that stuff?
Well, I haven't been. I mean, the games, there hadn't been a whole lot of drama in these games.
Other than that Braves-Phillies game.
Yes, and I thought that was a fantastic finish. The way that ended, that guy making that nice catch and then doubling off Harper at first base. But I've enjoyed it. I just that stat with the top 5 records 1-10. And those were probably the teams with mostly the highest payroll. And
well, other than the Orioles, they were and the Rays actually, because you got the AL A's completely out. Three of the better records.
Oh yeah.
Blue Jays didn't win a game. Rays didn't win a game. Orioles didn't win a game. 0-7.
Jeez, and so and it looks like it might be a battle of Texas. I'm not going to count the Twins out yet.
I wouldn't either. But today I saw Buxton is in the lineup now. To me, that reeks of desperation. That guy hasn't seen live pitching in a while, and they put him in as a DH today. To me, that seemed. I think the Astros have found their groove. I think they'll be very tough to beat. I've never been a backer of the Twins. I guess I mean if they can win tonight, anything can happen. But I don't know. I think the Astros might finish them off if Urquidy can pitch it all halfway decent for the Astros. I think they'll have a chance.
And they probably did they not have the worst record of all the teams that qualified?
Who's that?
The Twins.
Minnesota. Yeah,
they were close.
Yeah, they were the worst. They were the worst.
Yeah, but I'm really interested to watch that Dodger game tonight.
Yeah,
because I would just be shocked. Yeah, I know. And I mean, they got to rely on him. Wow.
Yeah, their pitching's
but to think that the Dodgers could go into this series and they're down 0-2, and if they lose tonight, I mean, that's mind-boggling.
Well, here's the thing: the Dodgers must not have done very good homework. Now, Trevor Bauer to me should be vindicated, and he didn't do anything wrong. And shame on the Dodgers, but then again, they're the ones. They've done some very questionable things as far as social justice type stuff in behavior that's just outrageous with the Catholic nuns and just horrible behavior, and they get what they fucking deserve. I feel bad because Michael Grove's there, and he's a friend of our Pine Room guys, and we know him, and I wish him nothing but the best. But I hope he gets out of there and comes back east for his own sake. But the Dodgers. They had Trevor Bauer that they just cut ties with because they believed the woman who accused him and made it up. They have proof of that now. And then you got another guy that's beaten his wife multiple times, and they kept him Urias. Yeah. So there you go. You got two, one guy innocent. You get rid of him. The other guy had a track record of it, but you kept him. And now you're paying for it. Yeah, Kershaw's finished.
Yes.
Bueller's hurt. You don't have anybody else ready. Spend. It doesn't always mean you win. So,
and that's like the arrogance of teams like that, and I love it. I hope the Diamondbacks, and I would have never in a million years bet the Diamondbacks to win this series. They got momentum now. The Diamondbacks and Phillies. The Diamondbacks and Phillies remind me a lot of each other. The Diamondbacks don't have the proven commodities the Phillies do yet, but they got a little bit of swagger now, and they got a lot of confidence, and they're swinging a hot bat. And if their starting pitching holds up whatsoever. In their bullpen, obviously, then they're going to be tough to beat, even for the Braves or the Phillies, whoever wins that series. But you just wonder, once it goes for a team like that, it's hard to get it back. So they got to keep the momentum rolling. And you know what else I've found just neat and exciting is seeing some of these crowds. Like last night, the Rangers fans in unison chanting, "Let's go Rangers!"
Yeah.
I mean, it's deafening. And I think that does play a factor into some of these games. I mean,
it does.
And we talked about it earlier toward the stretch run, and we Coach talking about that, and you and me, and about you're gripping the bat a little tighter, and and the pressure gets harder and harder, and now that you're in the playoffs, it's like, damn, man, that's a lot of pressure, and who can step up in the big moments.
And like them or hate them, but you got to give the Astros credit. I don't care if they're cheating or not, or they did cheat, or all the guys that cheated are still there or not there, whatever. I didn't think it was fair that they were the only team that ever got in trouble for that. I know there was other teams that did it, and you can find information about that. So I don't understand why everybody hates them so badly, but you got to give those guys credit, man. Altuve, Bregman, Yordan Alvarez. I mean, Yordan Alvarez wasn't even on the team when they did that. But these dudes, they raised their game to another level when it comes playoff time. And I think, Chris, Dusty Baker is a manager, and then look at Texas with Bochy. I mean, you got guys who make their teams play loose, but they're dialed in, but they're not a lot of pressure. Somehow they're able to navigate the waters and keep the pressure low on their teams.
And Bochy's going for his fourth title.
Yeah, he won
3 with Giants. Right?
Giants, and he did make it to one World Series with San Diego way back, if you remember.
Yes,
he lost to the Yankees, I believe. So.
Yeah, he's definitely a Hall of Fame manager.
Yeah, and
good for him.
And that's where I think teams. Like the Orioles, definite disadvantage. Brandon Hyde's way out of his league here. It's just, and then maybe he'll get better. But I'm not really a big Brian Snitker fan. I don't really think he's very good. He does have a lot of good guys on that staff, though, with your boy Ronnie Washington and some of the other guys that have experience. So I think they have a good group of coaches. But I don't love them. I don't really love the Phillies guy either, or the Diamondbacks guy I don't know enough about yet to make a judgment, but that's important. And Dave Roberts, I love the guy a lot. I really do. What he did for the Red Sox, that'll never be forgotten by people like me, but I don't think he's a very good manager. I really don't.
And it makes me think, like if and I think I texted you that today, like if next year the Pirates are this year's Orioles, and you get Shelty and this Oscar Marine guy and these big high pressure moments, I just comparing them to like a Bochy.
Correct.
What's our buddy Champ say? It's
not
going to
work.
No, it won't.
It'll never work. Bring back Jack McKeon.
The
old veterans like him.
Yep.
Him and Skipper Leland. But anyway, baseball playoffs, getting ready to get into the championship series. By the time we're back on here, next will be the ALCS and the NLCS here. The Rangers, the only team to have punched their ticket so far, but lots of good action still ahead. And if you haven't been watching the baseball, I urge you to make the right choice. That if you were going to choose between watching baseball on Monday night or that garbage Monday Night Football game, I mean, you got to be a moron.
God. I didn't see one play of that.
I had it on only because but I didn't have the sound up, which I never usually do. And I barely ever looked at it other than to look at the time and the score from time to time because I had a bet on the under in the game, and that's it. I didn't listen. I didn't care. I wasn't engaged in that game at all. It was trash.
And it's week after week, and we've seen this for years now. Every week in the NFL, there's one or two game-changing calls that went against somebody or that it wasn't called.
They were wrong.
And it's like it's talked about every freaking week. So the focus always seems to be on those incompetent referees. And the more you watch, you think it's like scripted like the WWE. And it's hard to watch.
People can make a case for that. I can see why people
That's
think
why
that.
I choose baseball or –
yeah. At least in the
hockey,
baseball, it's not nearly as bad. I mean, umpires still screw up plenty of times, but at least they got some help nowadays.
Well, I don't give a fuck about the taking these straight. You learn from a goddamn, even if a guy his strike zone is a little bit bigger than maybe it should be, but you were taught in Little League, if it's close, swing the fucking bat.
Right.
So,
I mean, no one cares about striking out now. I don't know why they're so, concerned. So
yeah, the only thing is,
away.
You never know what you're going to get when Angel Hernandez is behind.
That guy.
He's not doing any playoff games.
No, they can't have him. He's still in the lawsuit. They just get rid of that guy. That guy, I honestly think he does it on purpose to get his name into the in the papers and stuff, but he's horrendous. He literally, I would not have confidence in him calling balls and strikes down at Garden Park. I really wouldn't. I think he's that bad. All right, let's shift over to college football, coach's favorite thing. I'll tell you this, and I'd say it even if he was here. This football card this week absolutely sucks.
It's very good.
It's an embarrassment, some of these games. I mean, I was looking. Here's how bad it is. So I start to make my TV plan for the weekend for work, about getting everything gridded out. Well, what I'm going to have on which games or which TVs and which is going to have the sound and which is going to have the games on the bigger screens and so forth. And I was going through these today, just like my first run through.
And I want to see if your games coincide with mine.
It was a struggle to find a game at noon that I could put on TV because I can't put Ohio State on because it's on Peacock. So we don't get it over there, and they don't have business accounts. So I was stuck with trying to figure out what game can I put on. Syracuse, Florida State, oh God. Georgia, Vanderbilt, that's going to be a 50-point slaughter. I ended up with Alabama, Arkansas as my main game with the sound at noon because I didn't have anything better. I thought that was the only game that was even halfway intriguing. I mean, Indiana and at Michigan, they're going to beat them by 50.
Yeah,
just horrible. The games at noon, man, if you want to sleep in, Saturday's the day to do it. I just, man, oh man. I know Coach thinks that's like sacrilegious to say that.
Those are like fighting
words. Because you can bet on them, and that's fine. If you want to find winners, that doesn't mean you have to watch them. I mean, I'll gladly lay some money on Michigan. I'm just not going to be watching every play of that game.
Bad stuff.
Just dreadful. All right, let's not waste any more time. Get into this wonderful schedule. Syracuse at Florida State. Just mentioned a minute ago. ABC's noon game on Saturday. Florida State minus 17.5, total 56.5. Florida State was my best bet last week. They jumped out 22-0. Looked like they were going to massacre Virginia Tech. Well, then they just quit. And then they gave up a kickoff return and so forth, and they ended up missing the cover by a point. So F the Seminoles, and I don't know. I have no real opinion here. I would lean Florida State. Chris, do you have any thoughts?
I'm going to go with Florida State. I just think Syracuse is just really, really bad. I mean, they've they got handled really easily by North Carolina last week. So going down to Tallahassee, I don't see I don't see that Syracuse pose much of a problem.
Dino Babers, he can't really win outside of the Carrier Dome. Occasionally he'll win a game in there, but that's about all. Coach is on the under in that game of 56.
Are you going to Stanford, Colorado, or is that a Friday?
Oh, yeah, that's Friday. Yeah, sorry. I guess I forgot about that. Yeah, no, we're good. No, please. Yeah, let's go back to that. Sorry. Friday's games, I forgot this. You will be able to get these plays in. So Chris has an opinion here. It's the Colorado Buffaloes, minus 11, hosting the Stanford Cardinal, 58.5 on the total. Chris, what do we got?
I'm going to take Colorado. Give an 11. I mean, Stanford's lost 4 in a row, and they've only beaten Hawaii. They're not very good, and I think – I don't know. I think Coach Prime's probably due to have a blowout victory, and if he's going to have one, it's going to be this week. So
I think you're probably right there. I would lean that way too. So that's a Friday night 10 o'clock game.
And Stanford is bad.
Yeah. Anything in Tulane, Memphis, or Fresno, Utah State?
No, I'm taking a pass on that.
Small line moves on these. Fresno opened 7 down to 5.5. Tulane opened 3 up to 5. So if you're playing on line movement, you'd play Tulane and you play Utah State, although it's counterproductive to do that because you're not getting the best of the number. But if you see that tick back up at all, maybe take a look at
Utah
State.
Well, I know it's a Thursday game, and I didn't really preview.
Yeah, Mounties.
What do you think on that?
I mean, the tickets are $1. Holgerson's a loser. I hate the spot for the Mountaineers, though. They played so well. I feel like they're bound to have a hiccup. And I would lean Houston, but hopeful that Mountaineers blow them out.
Yeah, me too.
That's where I'm leaning.
All
right, let's go back to Saturday. Keep these noon beauties going here. Indiana at Michigan. We mentioned this one a couple minutes ago. It'll be Michigan minus 33.5, total 47.5. Total open 49.5. It actually is fallen. I've seen some 46s and 46.5s out there right now. So some intrigue on the total to the under. I like Michigan, obviously. I think they can just name the score. Coach on Indiana here, though. He likes them. They're a strong play for him. Chris, what do you say?
I just don't think with the Wolverines' defense, they'll smother this team.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll have enough to cover the 34, so I'm taking the under.
I like that play a lot. I think the line movement says under, and the style of game says under. Michigan is not going to give up many points in this game, so I expect it to be pretty low scoring, and Indiana probably be lucky. Wouldn't you say? If they get 10, that would be a miracle.
Exactly,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Iowa State and Cincinnati, another snooze fest here. It'll be the Bearcats minus 5, total 47.5. This is interesting. Open 50. Sharp money on the under. It's all the way down to 45 some places. Iowa State with a nice win last week. Cincinnati's been just I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion here. I lean Cincinnati, but I don't like the -5. What do you say?
I've got I'm taking Iowa State in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I expect it to be a high-scoring game, but I'm going with Iowa State.
Yeah, I think there could be some points there. Iowa State somehow found an offense, which is surprising to me. They scored a few on Oklahoma, and then who did they beat last week? I know they had a nice win, and I can't remember who it was. TCU? I think they beat TCU. I think that's who it was. So a nice win, but Iowa State has been able to figure out a way to score points. So,
what about Indiana? We skipped that.
No, Indiana and Michigan.
No, I'm sorry.
Michigan State, Rutgers. Yeah, sorry, I was going to go back to that because I knew I missed it. Another exciting game in the Big Ten. It's Michigan State and Rutgers.
I don't mean to.
No, you're fine. I did notice that. I started to say the second game after that, and I looked back. So, yep, here we go. Michigan State at Rutgers. It'll be the Scarlet Knights -5. The total 40.5, and another really strong Big Ten game. Chris, I don't really have an opinion on this one. What did you think?
I'm going with Rutgers in this. Michigan State's lost 7 of its last 8 road games, failed to cover the spread in 7 of its 8 last road games. It just keeps going on. All these stats favor Rutgers, so I'm taking Rutgers.
It almost seems too easy to take Rutgers up.
Yeah, it does.
Jubb needs one more win to get over his win total for the season, and his big 5-star release on Rutgers. They got 4. And this could be their 5th. I smell the 5th coming here.
Yes.
I would lean Rutgers as well. I actually more than a lean. I think 5. If it stays 5, I'll be playing them for sure. Ohio State at Purdue. This game's on Peacock. So if you're looking for it on regular NBC, they're making you buy that Peacock. They do it once a year. Gets you Ohio State fans get into your wallets if you don't have it. It'll be Ohio State -19 on the road. Total 49.5. Purdue just. They're better than what a lot of people think, but I don't love them. Coach on the under in this ball game. What do you say, Chris?
I'm taking Purdue.
Okay.
Ohio State's offense has still been sluggish. I mean, they got a defense. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, but I don't know. Maybe Purdue get a backdoor cover. So
I like it.
On a whim, I'm going to take the
I would lean that way as well. If it goes up to 3 touchdowns, I'll definitely take Purdue. Maybe the best game at noon. Arkansas on the road at Alabama, still a 19.5-point spread. It'll be the Crimson Tide, as I mentioned, 19.5, total 47. I don't know. Big win last week for Alabama.
Yeah.
This is a spot where you figure they let their guard down a little bit. Arkansas finally played a good game. I've been on them for weeks. They finally came through. I don't love them here, but I would lean towards Arkansas with the points just because Bama, I think, is a letdown spot. What are you thinking, Chris?
I'm going to go with I got the Tide here. 19-1 in their last 20 home games. And they won 9 straight at home versus the Razorbacks, so I'm going to keep that going. And although 19, well, what is it? I have it at 19 on this sheet.
19,
so whatever.
19.5.
And that's that might be tough, but I'm going to roll the dice with Bama.
Yeah, no, they're a much better team. If they want to win the game and cover, they certainly will be able to. Staying in the SEC, Georgia on the road at Vanderbilt. Georgia -31.5, 57 the total. This thing seems low to me. If Georgia has any interest at all in this game, they're going to destroy Vanderbilt. They played a complete game finally last week against Kentucky. Kentucky came in there, and, of course, Mark Stoops looks like a complete idiot afterwards trying to talk about how he doesn't have enough money to go get people and people should donate more. Man, if I was those boosters, I'd have his ass out
I
of
heard
there
that Dan Dawkins.
He makes $8 million fucking dollars a year.
Exactly.
Go out and get some players. You think all of a sudden Georgia just got good because of NIL? That's insulting. They've been good for several years.
For sure.
They didn't need that.
And when you hear guys say things like that, like it's a cop out, you just want them to get their brains beat in.
And what kind of leader are you when you make excuses like that?
Exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah, I'll be on Georgia in this game. I would imagine that they bury Vanderbilt. Do you have any other thoughts on that one,
I mean, they're obviously the superior team. I don't know about the 31.5, but I definitely think it's going to go over the total.
Okay.
So.
I agree with that. I think there could be some serious points from Georgia. Let's drop down. I don't think unless you have anything on Temple, North Texas, or any of these games.
Cal, Utah.
Yeah, that's where you got. That's where I'm going. Cal at Utah, 3:00 kickoff. Utah -13.5. The total 45.5 as they host the Cal Bears. What do you got here, Chris?
I'm taking the under. I think Utah will win the game, but I think that with their defense, they've been good all year. I think they're allowing somewhere like 13 points. So competitive game, but I'm going to take Utah. But I'm definitely under.
Yeah, I like the same exact thing. I think Utah is a much better team here. Cal's okay, but I think it's under. Utah's a tough place to play. I think Utah flexes their muscles and probably wins this game like, I don't know, 31-10 or something like that. It's 31-7. Illinois at Maryland, going back to the Big Ten. It'll be Maryland minus 14, total 51. Your line, I've been a mess. I have a slight play here on the under in this game. I think Maryland's defense is a tad better than what people think it is, and Illinois to me has been really bad. Although what worries me is Illinois' defense has been really questionable in the recent weeks. So I have a slight lean to the under. What are your thoughts?
That's not bad either, because I see there's only 2 teams in the FBS that have committed more turnovers than Illinois, and Maryland's forced 12 turnovers. Watching them against Ohio State, they played well. They hung in there. I just
couldn't capitalize in the red zone.
in Ohio State warmed down. So I'm going to give the points. I'm taking Maryland on that. I think Illinois they're god awful.
I could not recommend a play on Illinois in this spot. I think that would be suicide, borderline. Back to the SEC, Texas A&M at Tennessee. It'll be Tennessee minus 3.5. The total 56. A&M off of a loss against Alabama. They weren't completely overmatched, but to me, they're just never going to win any big games with Jimbo Fisher. Coach is all over Tennessee in this game. Chris, where did you go?
I am on Tennessee as well. They throw the ball pretty well, and I think we almost say it weekly about Jimbo Fisher, so I have no faith in him. So I'm taking Tennessee.
Yeah. Complete losers. What he is.
Yes, overpaid loser.
Yeah, and I'll be on the under in this game. I think Tennessee wins this game somewhere around 47-7 or 43-10 or something like that. I don't think A&M will score more than 2 touchdowns, and I think Tennessee will kick their ass pretty much. So, all right, let's move along to the other page here. As we turn the page, it'll be back to the ACC. We go. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons at the Virginia Tech Hokies. Hokies now -1. It opened Wake -1. It's now Hokies -1. So somewhere around a pick. Total 48.5. I didn't really have anything in this game. I think both these teams are pretty bad. I don't like Virginia Tech at all. They did get a cover last week at my expense. Where did you go here, Chris?
The last 2 matchups that these teams have played in Blacksburg, Virginia Tech's handled them, and they've combined score 88-38. That's not going to change, so I'm taking the Hokies.
All right, you're on the Hokies. No play from Coach on that one, and I will probably be sitting that one out too. Maybe a slight lean to the under, but I don't know. Let's keep it going. 3:30 SEC Network. The Florida Gators at the South Carolina Gamecocks. Gamecocks -2. Total 51.5. This is a game that has my best bet of the week right here. It'll be South Carolina -2. I like them a lot here. I don't think Florida is capable of winning games outside of the swamp. So I am all over the Gamecocks here. Chris, where'd you go?
Matt, I agree with you. And the Gators lost 5 straight road games, 0-2 straight up against the spread on the road this year. And South Carolina has a disastrous defense. They're awful. I mean, they rank 121st in total defense. There are other stats I'm not going to go over. Yeah. But I'm going to take, because of that, I'm taking the over.
That's probably a good move. I considered that as well. So I think that's probably a strong move. You figure Florida will score a little bit just because of, as you mentioned, that defense is so bad. But, yeah, I like the Gamecocks there. I think they win that game by double digits, I think. If they can get a stop one time or another. I'm counting on Florida to turn it over a couple times. All right, quickly, I didn't really want to hit on this game, but I do like Penn State here. Penn State -42.5 against UMass. Now, I remember James Franklin, we've talked about on the show. This guy wants to cover spreads. Well, he's going to have an opportunity to cover this one by halftime. So I think Penn State wins this game by 50 or more just because they can. So take advantage of it. There's no possible way Franklin's letting UMass cover this spread when he's, throwing and running the ball at the end of the games when he should be kneeling. I think Penn State absolutely massacres UMass, who's not really a little bit improved, but I look for the Nittany Lions to keep the spreads covering.
UMass lost 6 in a row. Not how they could be winning 6 in a row. It doesn't matter. But shame on Penn State for even playing this team.
Yeah, I agree, Chris.
It's ridiculous. I'm taking the over, so it's going to be like 55-0.
Yeah,
I agree. Can't see UMass scoring unless like a freak, like a fumble, they run it into the end zone, or like maybe a punt return. I don't know how they can score.
No, not unless Franklin wants to give his third team some reps and the guy fumbles or something.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see. Oregon at Washington. This may be the game of the day. I'm actually looking forward to this game. Washington -3 at home. The total 67. Slight lean to Washington, but I think Oregon's good too. Two great quarterbacks here. Man, where do you go here? Points, or what? I think Washington has an opportunistic defense. I think they can make some plays, but man, Oregon is good. I don't know. I don't really have a strong play, but I am intrigued by watching the game.
Yes, and two exciting quarterbacks. Obviously, two of the premier in the country. Both teams coming off bye weeks, so they'll be rested. I'm taking Washington, giving 3, maybe just because the home field advantage.
Yep, I would lean that way too. Coach is on the under here. Strong play on the under for Coach in Washington, Oregon. Big 12 time. BYU at TCU. It'll be the Horned Frogs -4.5. The total 53.5. Didn't really have a play here. Can't get a grasp on BYU really. And TCU is tricky too because
they got a quarterback issue.
They got a lot of issues. It's not quite like it was last year. But I don't know. This is a game that I think maybe BYU can hang in. I would lean towards taking them, but I don't have a strong feel. What do you think?
I'm going to take BYU. I mean, they're coming off a bye. So, I don't know. BYU's 4-1, and I don't have a real good feel. I'm just going by statistics and record, and the issue with TCU's quarterback.
Yeah, and if you're getting more than a field goal, I think it's worth it.
Because if they don't have the Chandler Morris, then they got to go with redshirt freshman Josh Hoover. So that could pose a
maybe
problem.
An under there, folks. Keep an eye on that one. Next game, Big 12 also. Kansas coaching Nick's Jayhawks on the road at Say's Oklahoma State Cowboys. Cowboys off a big win on Friday night. Jayhawks off a crushing of UCF. Kansas -3.5 on the road. Total 57.5. I lean Kansas here. I think they're much better than Oklahoma State from what I've seen so far. But that line looks a little low to me, Chris. That makes me wonder. What do you think?
Kansas hasn't covered on the road this season. They're going into Oklahoma State. I am going to take the Cowboys getting the points, and hopefully they'll win. The Mountaineers win, set up a huge game next weekend.
Yeah, that you'll be at.
Yes,
that'll be big.
Yeah, so but Kansas is good, but I'm just I'm rooting for the Cowboys.
I was gonna play Kansas, but I'll probably get off of that. I don't like that line. I think it's a little low. So that tells me Oak State and Coach on Kansas. What a surprise! He's all over the Jayhawks. Him and Nick. It's like. I just wonder what it's going to be like one week when they don't bet Kansas or Notre Dame, because it's like.
But it's always
week.
with their heart, right?
Or their Jeff's heart.
Yeah, Jeff's heart,
Luke's heart. Yeah. But I don't know. No way to.
Well, then I think Mark always likes to when he talks to Jeff about the Irish, that he can always refer to them as we.
We,
and then just like with him and Nick and Kansas, we.
All right. Well, I guarantee you none of us are going to be saying we about these teams. Iowa at Wisconsin.
Wow.
The snooze game of the week. But I have a strong play here. Wisconsin -10. The total 36.5. I like Iowa in this game, and I like them a lot. I think Iowa has a chance to win this game. I do not like Wisconsin. I don't know why their lines to me have been off all year. They're factoring in this Luke Fickell factor, and I don't trust it. This team is not good enough yet. He got to give the guy a few years. Plus, I'm not sure he's ever going to be that good. He didn't do it at Ohio State. He did it at lowly Cincinnati. They overachieved. It's easy to get kids motivated when they don't get recruited by the big schools. Well, Wisconsin's a big school. I don't like this spot for them at all, and I don't like Iowa. So if I'm backing Iowa, there's a reason, but 10's too many. Iowa keeps games close. Their defense is good. Their quarterback play is horrendous. But I think this is low scoring, and I think Iowa's got a chance, Chris. What do you say?
Well, Matt, with that being said, I'm going to take the under. I thought this was interesting, even though it's, at 37, 36?
Yeah, 36. It's hard to imagine.
Wisconsin quarterback Tanner Mordecai, he threw 72 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons at SMU.
Right.
In 5 games at Wisconsin, he's thrown 3.
Yeah.
And they said Iowa has thrown twice as many passes, TD passes, But yet, Iowa ranks 128th out of 130 teams in passing offense.
Yeah, and now they did lose their guy for the year, but it didn't seem to bother them.
So I'm looking at like 1916 or something.
No, I think that's well within reason.
So I'm going to take the under.
Yep, I think it's a strong play. Yeah, both of those teams really struggle to score points, and that tells you what kind of receivers Wisconsin's got, because SMU obviously had skill players that he could get the ball to. This team does not. Louisville at Pitt. What a game this is. It'll be the Cardinals off the big win over Notre Dame. They opened 9.5. They went down to 8. Now they're down to 7.5. The total's 46.5. Man, I really, really hate to say it, but I think this is a good spot for Pitt, and I hate it. I hate it. I don't want to do it, but God, I don't really want to play Louisville. Now, on the contrary, so you're getting both sides of it here. Coach's best bet of the week is Louisville. I think that's hard for them to duplicate what they did last week. I think this is a letdown spot, so I'd be very cautious, but Coach feels strong about it. Chris, where are you at?
Pitt's made a change at quarterback. I mean, not that that's significant, but anything's got to be better than that. Whatever that guy's name,
Jerkovic. Yeah, he's moving to tight end.
And playing, not that playing at home, but maybe there is a letdown after Louisville having that primetime win.
It's
last
just tough
week.
to get up for a game against a shitty Pitt team after you beat Notre Dame in front of everyone.
So I'm taking the Panthers getting the points.
I'm with you on that. I think as bad as they are, I think they keep it ugly. Even if Louisville wins by a field goal, you're getting 8 or 9 here, maybe at least a touchdown. So I say roll with the Panthers, but Coach strong play on the Cardinals. So comes down to who you at home trust on this game. Or you can sit it out. Wyoming at Air Force. Very good. Tricky, good game here, actually, out west. Be the Falcons minus 10.5. Total 42.5. I like Air Force here. Wyoming off a huge win against Fresno up in Laramie. Now they got to go to Colorado Springs. No, are they in Colorado Springs? I think they are. Air Force. Yeah, I think they're Colorado Springs. So they go down to Colorado Springs. I think this is going to be tricky. I think Air Force is really good. I like the Falcons here, Chris. Where are you at?
Well, man, I skipped over that game, but so I don't really have a play on this one. And good luck with your pick.
All right, we'll go on for Isaac Turner in Air Force.
Yes.
By the way, I missed one. Coach likes UMass in that game against Pitt. Sorry, folks, I didn't want to leave that big winner out.
Or Penn State, you mean?
Penn State. Sorry, yeah.
He's
taking UMass plus the points. I don't know how he could do that after he was scorned by Franklin in week 1.
Yes.
Against the Mountaineers.
Cost him a lot of money.
Yes, it did to a lot of people. That one hurt bad. All right, let's go to Pac-12 now. Arizona at Washington State. Washington State minus 8. Total 61.5. Washington State looks to pick up the pieces after a disappointing performance against UCLA, who doesn't have a formidable defense. Man, Chris, this looks like a spot for the Cougars to get well again. What do you say?
Well, man, I watched Arizona last week, and they were surprisingly good against USC. Now I know USC's defense is bad, but I like Arizona getting the points. They played some teams pretty well. I mean they've battled. They've
Can
competed.
they travel up the Pullman?
I don't know, but we'll find out. But I'm taking the Wildcats.
Okay,
getting the points.
I'm leaning Washington State. I kind of like the over in the game, as you said. Arizona's offense is decent. Coach on Washington State heavy, so.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but we'll go with it. Keeping it going, it's the SEC. We go back to 7 o'clock kick, ESPN, Auburn at LSU. This used to be always an exciting game back when the teams were good. I don't really like either one of them here. LSU minus 11, total 62. Lean LSU in the spot, but Auburn's a team I think is getting a little bit better. I don't like them on the road, though. Totals went down to 60, was 63.5, 62, now 60. I don't know how you play under in an LSU game as bad as they've been defensively. I don't like Brian Kelly, but I don't really like anything against him either here. So would you come up with anything?
I'm going with the LSU, even though Auburn they were off last week and then they played Georgia pretty tough.
That was
but I'm gonna I don't like it, but I'm gonna take LSU.
Roll the dice. Brian Kelly, I'd lean that way too. Coach is on Auburn. So we've been against Coach quite a bit here today. That's interesting. Kansas State at Texas Tech, Big 12 showdown. Or I guess it's a showdown. Texas Tech minus 1, total 56.5. K-State with laid an egg on Friday night last week, Chris, at T. Boone Pickens Stadium, I believe that was, against Oak State. Yes. I like K-State to bounce back here. What do you say?
I like the over in this game.
Okay.
Kansas State's been struggling defensively, they give up a lot of big plays, and so I think Texas Tech may be able to take advantage of that. So I'm gonna go over, Matt.
Yeah, Kansas State or Texas Tech got some momentum going. I feel like a little bit on offense, but I agree with you. Kansas State gave up some big plays to Oak State, so I think that over could be a good one. Maybe the game of the week, if it's not Washington, Oregon, it's this one: USC at Notre Dame. Although Notre Dame keeps losing, it really. Yes. Kind of not as important, and I think USC's got some losses coming. Notre Dame minus 2.5, total 63.5. Sharp money on Notre Dame, but trendy public dog seems to be USC, so you got to be aware of that. I honestly this game doesn't intrigue me all that much. You got a team with a horrible defense, and you got a team in Notre Dame that's just okay.
Yes.
Where did you end up?
Where's it? I'm taking Notre Dame. I'm not impressed with USC. I mean, their talent is all get out, offensively.
Right.
But Notre Dame, I mean, I won't say they got blown out, but they in the second half they got manhandled last week. But that was a formidable Louisville defense, and
right.
And I don't see that in USC. Notre Dame's playing at home, and if they want any type of chance to get into the playoff, they got to win, and I think they will at home. So I'm going to take the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, I don't even know where. I have really no strong opinion on this game. I would probably say the over. I don't think USC will ever stop them, but we shall see. Coach doesn't have a play on that game either as I look through his plays. Moving on, it's the SEC matchup between the Missouri Tigers and the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky minus 2.5. Total 52.5. Mark Stoops made a fool of himself. I don't know if they get back in the win column. Missouri's got some issues. Quarterback got hurt. They played a tough game last week. I don't know. I have no opinion in this game. What did you come up with? Anything?
I came up with the over, Matt. Missouri's defense. Normally they have a good defense. This year they're really bad and giving up a lot of points. So I'm taking the over.
Okay. All right, it's moving on. Miami and North Carolina. I don't even talk about this in the bad beats section, but it's been that kind of a week for me. Miami Hurricanes on the road at North Carolina. North Carolina minus 3.5, total 57. I was really going to like Miami in this spot had they have been able to avoid the collapse they had last week. But I can't recommend them here. I'm not sure Cristobal hasn't lost the team. I don't think North Carolina is very good at all, but I don't know. It depends on if Miami shows up. I guess my best recommendation is maybe an in-play wager early in the game. You'll be able to know pretty early. If North Carolina scores quick, I'd say Miami will pack it in. What are you thinking, Chris?
Yeah, and I'm taking North Carolina. I mean, we'll if we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it right after this.
But they've defeated the last two ACC opponents by combined score 81-31, and that's going to be brutal for Miami to try to come back from that.
Yeah, it will be.
Playing
at
North Carolina,
I really thought this was a spot they would win the game straight up. I was really excited about the game, and now it's like I don't even want to watch it. Doesn't even matter.
What was Miami favored by last week? It was double digits, wasn't it?
It was almost three touchdowns. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pathetic. Keep it in the ACC. North Carolina State on the road at Duke. Duke minus 3.5. Total 46.5. Coach, a strong play on Duke in this one. I do not have a play. I think I would lean Duke. I don't think NC State's very good at all.
I'm taking the Wolfpack.
Oh, you're on the Pack. Okay.
Yeah, only because the Devils they lost their quarterback Riley Leonard. So
yeah,
so the guy replaced him when he has 14 career pass attempts.
Yeah, it could be a low scoring game.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take the Pack, getting the points.
All right, UCLA at Oregon State. UCLA a 3.5 point road dog here at Corvallis. Beavers, as I said, 3.5. Total 54. Some money coming in on the under. I think the under's a really good play here. I'll be recommending that. I think both these defenses are pretty strong. I think Oregon State will control the ball here. I think Oregon State's probably the side. I think they'll win this game by about a touchdown, but I do think it'll be a good game, Chris.
And I tend to agree with you on the under, man. UCLA's got a pretty suffocating run defense. So I'm going to take the under. I think that's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
That's a nice matchup for Pac-12. So, and that's an 8 o'clock Fox game.
Yeah, looking forward to watching that one as well. And then any of these last three games, UAB, UT San Antonio, Boise, Colorado State, or San Diego State, Hawaii, anything on those three, Chris? I have
nothing. I do not, Matt.
All right. And let's recap Coach's plays here in case I missed one. And he is on. His leans are Ohio State, Purdue under, Washington, Oregon under, Auburn plus 11.5, Indiana plus 34.5, and UMass 42.5. And his strong plays, big key releases. Tennessee minus the points, Kansas minus the points. Washington State minus the points. Kentucky, Missouri over 52.5. I know I missed that one. Duke minus 3.5. Florida State, Syracuse under 56. And then his best bet is the Louisville Cardinals minus. Well, he's got 7.5 here, so it might be around 7.5, 6, 5. Who knows what it's going to drop to? But anyway, those are the best bets from Coach. Before we take a break and get into the little touching on NHL and talking about the NFL week number 6. Our bad beats, as we mentioned, the Miami game. If you didn't see it by now, they inexplicably don't take a knee. They fumble. Then Georgia Tech scores. They lose 23-20. And then Missouri, +6 against LSU. It's 42-39 with 34 seconds left. Pick 6, LSU. 49-39. In Missouri, really, you were covering the entire game. LSU never was in a position to cover that whole game. And you lose. So 2 horrible beats. The Miami one hurt badly. If you had that money line, you were never going to cover the spread, but the money line, or if you're just a fan like me, you went to bed pissed. So,
well, pretty much everybody knows the situation, what happened there. But I heard him talking about Miami and talking about Cristobal, and how good of a recruiter he is. And he said I thought they said he had the number 1 recruit in the nation there at that game, and they were just saying, and how these kids now, how they're just dissecting what this coach can do, and they don't know what this kid's going to decide, but they said that can't be a good look.
No, it's the ramifications. Here we go. Here we go. I mean, and he's a great recruiter, but he's done the same stuff, did the very same thing in a game when he coached Oregon against Stanford. I remember we were in the Pine Room watching it, and I want to say that we had Oregon, and they did the same thing. They would not kneel. He ran it 3 straight times. The guy almost fumbled, and then on the 3rd down play, he did fumble, and they ended up losing to Stanford. It just gave him a game. Same thing, and he didn't learn from it.
And I don't understand how you can't learn from that. But even if you saw in those last 2 runs, especially the ones where that kid fumbled, that kid was running like a goddamn bulldozer.
I don't understand it.
I mean, he was just trying to get every last yard he could. And I thought, just go. The minute the guy, first of all, he should have just taken a hand off and fallen down.
At some point, maybe the quarterback or the other players out there, the captains might say, hey, let's cover up for our dumb coach here. And just take the play and fall down and just pretend you trip.
Either that or they just figure, we're not going to fuck this game up. But and then for the defense to give up 2 big plays. That's
the defense, though, to me, and I said this on the radio the other day, I mean, in that situation, you're starting to loosen up your shoes. You got your helmet off.
I never thought about that.
You're kneeling down. I mean, it's a terrible thing, but that's human nature. You would say there was no chance you could lose that game.
Yeah.
So you're unbuckling, you're loosening your shoulder pads, and then all of a sudden you got to go out there and get your mind back on it. I'm not to make an excuse. You still can't have it happen.
Well said, though, because their mind is like, our work's done.
Yeah, that's right. We did what we needed to do. Yeah. Okay, we got to stop. We got the ball back. All we need to do is kneel. It's over. And then here you go. Got to go back on the field. Horrible stuff. All right, going to take a break here on Bettor's Last Stand. Come back, talk some NHL and NFL week number 6. It's BLS, Matt and Chris with you. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Reminder, Bettor's Last Stand is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. You're watching Bettor's Last Stand.
All right, welcome back in. Bettor's Last Stand. Matt and Chris here with you as we bring you through another week of exciting football action. Chris's best bet in college, just going back on that, is the Stanford Cardinal. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes, sir. Yep. I think they're primed with prime to have a blowout win.
Okay.
And that's against who? The lowly Cardinal of Stanford, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're on Colorado, not Stanford.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
Nope.
Sorry. I said that wrong. Colorado over Stanford.
Yes.
That is correct. Okay. All right. NHL started last night. I had a bad beat in the first game already. Puck line. The Nashville game. Now, Nashville had a goal disallowed to go up 3-1, and then within a few seconds later, the game's tied at 2, and then Tampa takes the lead 3-2. Then Nashville tied at 3, and then they ended up losing 5-3. Empty netter with 2 seconds left, stuck right in my ear. Yeah,
2 seconds.
Yeah, but I mean that's just so. I think the goalie interference stuff's stupid. I mean, within reason. In this one, God knocked him off stride, but he got squared back up, and the shot seemed like 10 seconds afterwards, and they still called interference. That hurt me bad. Nashville still gave a pretty good performance. So, I did not play anything in the Penguin game. I had a couple of player props. I just didn't trust them. Chris, it was a sad performance again.
I thought it was.
Yeah. Now I hear, of course, Mark Madden is saying about how great certain guys played. I know you didn't think some of the guys played all that well. Power play, just a joke again. I don't understand where Erik Karlsson's playing there.
Was he kind of complaining? Not Carlson, but Madden was saying he had him on the half wall.
Yeah, he had him over on the side where I don't understand why he's not. He should be running the entire thing. He should be telling everybody else what to do.
Exactly, and they should go to him. Maybe they have say, all right, where do you feel most comfortable on this power play? That's where you're going to be.
It shouldn't even be a seniority thing. This dude is proven one of the best power play players ever. So just a terrible performance. I really don't see any way out of this for the Penguins. I think they're going to end up having to fire Mike Sullivan. I think he's a good coach. I do. But this is just not working. He doesn't trust certain guys. Like, I don't know why that Zohorna guy didn't make the team. I don't know. I don't trust this team the way it's made up. I just don't think it has the right chemistry to be able to win, and I think their defense is leaky, and I just can't trust Tristan Jarry. He made some great saves, but then he's not there though when you need him to be to steal a game, because he never does that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it just, and perfect example. You talk about the power play. So they go up 2-0. Chicago challenges it. They lose the challenge. Right away, 2-minute power play for the Penguins, and they just almost like, and it seems like that same mentality. Well, we're up 2-0, we can just not mail with them, but you got to put teams away.
Yeah, nobody blew more leads than them last year. And I have that as a note on my betting tips here. Keep an eye on this, because the Penguins were terrible at this last year. They get 2-goal leads, and they would squander them regularly. And if you can find some spots to play wagers against the Penguins, if this continues, I would definitely consider it. And if you don't want to play against them, if it's your favorite team and you don't bet against your favorite team, play the overs in some of these games. These in-play overs.
Yeah.
This game could be going along 2-0, looks like a dead under game, and then bang, 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 here comes 3 goals from the other team. And then now the Penguins are having to scramble, and then before you know it, if it's 2-0 and then they score 2 or 3 times, you're looking at least 6 goals. And then if you can get to 3-3, you got an automatic winner. So I would take a look at those. I think Penguins in a lot of these hockey teams, just give it a few days, a couple of weeks, and then start looking into these numbers. Power play points, I mentioned that a lot on here last year, and I had some action on them last night. You're getting guys like Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid, and you're getting these guys. Their point totals on night are minus or 1.5, and then minus 140 and 160 to go over that. So why wouldn't you take a shot with a power play point over a half? These guys are both the focal points of their power play. Edmonton has the best power play maybe in the NHL in 20 years.
Yep.
He's only got to get 1 point. Like 1 point on the power play at plus money versus having to get 2 at regular strength. To me, it makes more sense to play the power play because these power plays actually can do something. Until the Penguins can prove they can, I can't recommend doing it with their guys, but I would like to be able to. The first period unders and the goals in the first 10s. We'll talk about them as time goes on. We start to get some data.
Yeah, because I know last year, man, we
great trends.
You focused on those trends, and the stats didn't lie. Obviously, but what was it, like first period overs or something?
First period overs, usually 1.5 is what they'll post up. Sometimes you'll get some 2s now, or you'll be heavily juiced to overs or unders. But these teams, they have a strategy and a style of play, and a lot of times you can take advantage of it. The trends were very strong. I mean, we had a lot of teams operating at above 70%, some almost 80% with their first period totals, either over or under, and then goals in the first 10 minutes. I think the first game last night, Tampa game, it just got it. Like if you had goal in the first 10, you were sweating. There was literally, I think he had like 10 seconds. They might have been at like 9:46 or something. So
was that Penguin game scored? Was that under 10 minutes?
I believe it was.
Yeah,
I believe it was. Russ scored maybe 8 minutes in or something like that. It was pretty close too. But Kucherov scored about 9:46, I think, into the first period there. So Chris, I don't know. It's a little too early to overreact here with the Penguins. But
I mean, if I didn't know any better, I was just thinking I was watching the game from last season.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like what I'm seeing. If you missed our best bets for the season-long stuff, you can still get those, and they'll readjust these things, so you can still use them. BLS_PRP, I had all those up last week for NHL. One thing I wanted to hit on before we go to NFL, the in-play wagering, it continues to be the best way to win. If you want to win at this, start studying in-play a little bit. These analytics and algorithms, they don't account for the flow of the game. So slight changes, weather intricacies, personnel availability, whatever, different strategies, whatever it may be, something that somebody found along the way, they don't account for it. And like I was talking to Chris about on Sunday at the club, like the analytics is so overused, but you can't really trust that the same guys aren't in play. So when you do it in the NFL, you're trusting trends for the New England Patriots that have Tom Brady for 20 years in him. That is not the same as Mac Jones. So I'm not saying the analytics are completely useless, but I would not make that my number one thing when I'm doing handicapping or picks or anything, and even coaching strategies. That's where it shows time after time that these guys don't know what they're doing, and you have more front offices getting these wizards in there who never played football. And not only saying you had to play it, I barely played any football in my life, but I'd been around the game enough to know what's going to work and what isn't. You don't have to be able to run and knock somebody down to be able to know football. But these guys are coming in here and they're thinking analytics is the only way to do it, and it's not. And there's holes in this stuff, and that's the only way you can really win in sports betting is by trying to identify the spots where the algorithm can't account for, and we'll continue to try to highlight them the best that we can. And you also see this bleeding over into the pre-market lines. The New England Patriots are getting overvalued because of Belichick. They are. They're terrible, and they were favored last. There's got to be a point where you say, all right, this is wrong. This team, they're using statistical data that still has when Tom Brady was playing and when they had a better roster. So all the things that New England is now, they weren't. They weren't before. They were better. They're not that now. So you got to be smart enough to understand it. Dallas is another one. You got to stop. They're too hyped. Yep. They're a team that everyone's on, everybody likes, or at least a lot of people do. So their numbers are blown up. Now, from the betting bookmaker standpoint, we build this stuff in there because public. New England is not a public team. Dallas is a public team. So their numbers are going to be a little bit higher because they're a very highly public bet team. But be aware, use your mind, watch these games, and you can start to figure out, like even the Penguins, they were like minus 240 last night, up to 260 some places. That was just not right. They should have been about $1.75 favorite, in my opinion. They have no track record in recent years to suggest that they are going to win games against teams that they're better than on paper. How about last year, Chris, who cost the Penguins their playoff berth, the Chicago Blackhawks, and they beat them again.
With a minor league roster, pretty much.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So
in Pittsburgh.
So you have situations like this all across sports. Just be aware of them. There's teams that are overpriced, and the Penguins, when you live in the market of the team, it helps a little bit because we see them all the time. We listen. We're very closely following the team, so it helps us identify that they are not priced correctly. So we'll keep an eye on it as hockey goes on. Let's shift over to the NFL. Everybody's favorite. Giants remain ATS 0-5 ATS that led only 19 seconds all season. Justin Jefferson hits the IR. The Broncos are allowing 36.2 points per game. Favorites on the season, 37-34 and 5 ATS. Unders are 44 and 34. Primetime unders 11 and 6. So intriguing stuff there. Let's go to the London game. Sunday morning, the Thursday night game have already been played. And did you have any opinion on that one?
I would take the Chiefs, and I think pretty much it seems like throughout the coaching fraternity, people don't like, or those coaches are really turned on that Sean Payton for all that shit he said about Hackett, and he's getting exactly what he deserves. So I think the Chiefs will hammer them. But
I would agree with you 100%. Denver I said, they're giving up a ton of points, 9-1 overrun for Denver. So hopefully you had the under last night when you're listening to the show.
Yeah.
Ravens at Tennessee, not really at Tennessee. They're at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This will be a 9:30 a.m. game Sunday morning in London. It'll be the Ravens -4, total 41. Both these teams off disappointing performances. The Ravens more so. Gave a game away to the Steelers. I don't know, Chris. I lean the under in this game. I think all 3 games in London to me look like dead unders from the start. And I think this will be, or this is the 3rd game. The first 2 I thought were unders. I like under a little bit, but don't love anything. What did you come up with?
I was kind of disheartened by the Ravens' performance, and I didn't think Lamar played terribly. I mean, if he put at least 3 passes right where they
terrible
need to
receivers.
Be, and those fucking
guys. Drop touchdowns. They dropped 3 touchdowns.
And I'm gonna take Vrabel and the Titans getting the points.
Yeah, I would lean that way myself, to be honest with you, but I do think it'll be a low-scoring game. Moving along, Washington at Atlanta. Atlanta -3, total 42. I really like the Commanders here. This is a team that I've identified as a team that plays like shit one week and then they'll play decent. They were humiliated last week on Thursday Night Football right when everybody thought they were good. I think they bounced back. Atlanta, I did have them last week. I hate how I just had to suck it up and take them. I did like them. They came through. Ritter at home, he made a couple plays with his legs, and they got a win, but I don't think it continues here. I think the Commanders go in and flex their muscles. I think the Commanders are going to do all right against quarterbacks that can't throw the ball down the field, and I think that's what Ritter is. So I like Washington. What did you do?
I've been back and forth on this, man. I kind of like that the coach, Atlanta's coach, Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Riverboat Ron, he's a has-been.
He's a clown.
Exactly. And the Commanders, exactly what you said. You never know what you're going to get each week. So I want to take the Falcons at home.
Okay.
Again, that's iffy, but them at home and the Commanders they've looked pretty bad the last
Jack
few
Del
weeks.
Rio, you might want to tighten up the D a little bit.
Yes.
Buffoon. All right, Minnesota at Chicago, big NFC North battle here. It'll be the Vikings without Justin Jefferson, -2.5 on the road, total 44.5. Unders in this series, 8 out of the last 9. I don't know if that plays a factor here at all. Both these teams' defenses aren't very good. I lean Minnesota here. Bears, to me, are just, I don't know. I don't think they're very good. I don't think that was indicative of how good they are against Washington last week. So I'll be leaning to the Vikings, but don't love it. Chris, what'd you
Nope, I'm going with the Bears. And in fact, that's going to be my strong play
of
the week.
And
that's crazy to do that with the Bears, but I don't see. I mean, the Bears beat the shit out of the Commanders, and to me, the Commanders and the Vikings are similar teams. I mean, maybe the Bears,
bad quarterbacks.
Yeah, maybe the Bears have a little bit of confidence and momentum after that 20-point win. So I'm going with the Bears at home.
Chris's best bet,
the
Bears.
Best bet.
All right, Bears and under. I don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Coach on the Bears also. So, all right, let's keep it moving. Seahawks coming east. They'll be at Cincinnati. Cincinnati -3, total 45.5. Seahawks 13-4 ATS coming out east, and then the last 17 games coming into the Eastern Time Zone on the road. So I like that. I'll be playing the Seahawks here. I don't love it. Cincinnati showed a little bit of signs of life, but they were playing the Cardinals, so I wouldn't get too excited yet. I do like over a little bit in this game. Chris, what'd you end up on?
I struggle with these games. It was like looking at these, and we see it every week when they're so hard to pick. One week a team you think is going to get their ass beat, pulls off an upset. So I'm just going with the home team, giving the points, Cincinnati. But Geno Smith and the Seahawks, I mean.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Bengals yet.
No.
I'm just not. I think they've got 2 wins over 2 pretty iffy teams. So, and one of them was at home, and then last week, if Dobbs does not throw that pick 6 before halftime, I really think that they were going to lose that game. So, Chase got his way and got his 3 touchdowns, so he can dance around like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Coach, best bet, Cincinnati. He loves the Bengals here. Oh, boy, that's going to make for a fun Abby sheet because I don't like them at all. Moving along, Brad's team, San Francisco, on the road at the Browns, Chris. Our Brownies catching 5.5 here, total 37.5. I don't know what to make of this. Now they're saying Deshaun's being a pussy again and is probably not going to play. So this line ought to go up. San Francisco has been the best team in the NFL this year so far. The only thing I could safely play here, I think, is the under in this game. What did you end up with?
I have the Niners given the points. Yeah. I am not sold on. I mean, and it's sad to even say because the Browns in the 2 wins that they had, they looked really dominant defensively. Yeah. And then I think the Titans game, Watson looked like he was making steps to get back to the guy that he once was. But I have no faith in their coaching staff. I don't think Stefanski's a leader. And if they get down 10 points first quarter, and I just think their defense, especially if they got P.J. Walker in there, I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball against San Fran. So I definitely am taking San Fran given the points.
Yeah, I don't see how you go against the coaches on San Francisco. Also, I like the under in the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along, New Orleans at Houston. It'll be the Saints -2. Total 42.5 here. I really like Houston in this spot. They did not perform last week, but Houston's going to be a team that's going to have ups and downs. Saints have played 14 out of 15 unders, so maybe under's a good play here. I like Houston, though, Chris.
Me too. Me too at home. The rookie quarterback's been pretty solid and been the best one of the group so far. So I'm going to take Texans. And I just like the way they the way they handled the Steelers.
Yeah.
Although Steelers aren't anything to brag about, but neither are the Saints. So I'm going the Texans.
Yep, I'm on them. Coach is on them as well on Houston. So I'm impressed. D'Amico Ryan's doing a good job. Division battle here in the lovely AFC South. Colts at Jags. It'll be Jacksonville -4. Total 45.5. I lean to the under here, but I saw in this series there's been a lot of overs. So I don't know. Don't have a strong play on this one.
I'm same with you. I like the under. I mean, the Jags haven't been putting up many points, and and the Colts they're with Minshew, right?
Yes, looks that way.
Richardson's out for
a while.
A while, yeah. So I would think the Jaguars will win the game, but it's going to low scoring.
Okay. Game that probably won't be low scoring will be the Dolphins hosting the Carolina Panthers. Miami -13.5. Total 48.5. Panthers D struggled. Dolphins offense has been great, but the Dolphins defense isn't that great. So maybe some points here. I thought I'll lean to the over.
I have the over circled as well. Panthers are just awful, and they're, like you said, their defense is bad. And I would think with all those weapons, Miami could probably score every possession if they wanted.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Coach has no play on that game. Moving along, the lowly New England Patriots.
Worst game of the day, I'd say.
Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders -3.5, total 41. I got nowhere to go in this game but under. The Patriots' offense is so fucking bad.
I circled the under.
How you could play? I don't even know how they have a total in 40s with that.
I see this game.
They can't even get a first down.
This game to me would be like 24-3.
Yes,
or something.
That's very possible.
I mean, and Mac Jones is quarterbacking again, right? I think they named him. Yeah, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I don't know how you can play a Patriot game over. I just don't know. It's just suicide. Moving along, the Lions at the Buccaneers. Lions -3 on the road, total 43.5. Lions on a 13-2 ATS run, but I absolutely love Tampa in this spot. I think Baker and the boys get the job done down on the grass, and I think I don't think the Lions have anything to be embarrassed about even if they lose this game. They're a solid team. They're a good team. Yeah. I mean, I just still think they'll struggle a little bit in some road games in some certain areas. But I'm on Tampa. Coach is on Tampa as well. Chris, where'd you end up?
I didn't go either way. I went with the over. I think there'll be some points in that game.
I agree.
And I'd like to see Detroit win. I don't know if they will. Tampa's pretty good. They're playing at home, so I'm going with the over.
Okay, like it. Arizona on the road at the Rams is our next game. It'll be the Rams -7, total 48.5. Man, I thought it was a little high to play the Rams. I want to play the Rams. The Rams have dominated this series, so I probably would lean the Rams. If it comes down under a touchdown, I'll probably take them. Coach is on the under in this contest. Chris, where'd you end up?
I thought with the points as well, it might be a little too high. So I'm taking Arizona. They've been competitive. They play hard for that rookie coach. I mean, I don't think they have the studs to pull off the victory, but I think it'll be a close division game.
I'm with you. All right, the Eagles on the road at the Jets. This will be the game on Fox. What a great afternoon game this will be. Eagles -7, total 41. I like the under in this game. I think it's going to be a A lot of running, a lot of power football. The Jets probably aren't going to make many plays with Zach Wilson with this defensive line the Eagles have. So, under's my play. What'd you go with?
I'm going to take the Jets getting the points. I think the Eagles, I mean, they're still not, I mean, they are undefeated, I believe, right? 5-0, but they haven't been dominant. Yeah, and the Jets are, I mean, they're trying to, they're hanging in there. I think they got 2 wins and playing at home in the last couple of weeks, Wilson has looked a little bit more like a legitimate quarterback. I'm not saying that'll last, but I think the Jets are going to hang in there. It's going to be close, so I'm taking them getting the points.
All right, I like it. I can recommend a 7 too. If I was going to see 7, I'll probably take them too. Giants at Bills, the Sunday night game. Terrible game. Bills minus 14 coming back from London where they looked half asleep. They didn't fly over till Friday. I have no idea why. That was an idiotic decision by Sean McDermott. Total 44.5 in this game. The Giants have lost 5 out of their last 6 games by 18 or more points, Chris. In the one game they came back and won.
Yeah, the Giants are.
It should be an absolute bloodbath.
Yes, they're probably the second worst team in the league right now behind the Patriots.
And maybe the Panthers. They're those 3 probably. Those 3.
Yeah, so now I think the Bills and they
I like the Bills and over.
Coming off that tough loss over there in London.
They'll be pissed off. Yes. The Bills Mafia will be out breaking tables and shit. They'll be wanting to run it up on the Giants.
So the Giants are going to be the sacrificial lamb this week.
And Dayball's going against his old team, so they'll be a little.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills score over 40.
Yep, that's why I like the over. I think that game will be about 47-6 or something. All right, Monday Night Football, Dallas at the Chargers. Dallas minus 2.5, total 50.5. Dallas 10-1 off a loss under Big Mike. I like it. I like Dallas here a lot. I hate to say it, but I do.
Really? You're going with Big Mike?
I'm going with Big Mike.
What the hell's that all about?
You just got to go with what you think is the way to do it. I don't know. Big Mike and the boys bounce back, I think. Strong. I'm on Big Mike. Coach on the Chargers here, though. Could be a problem again in Abby's.
Well, I'm on the over, Matt. I don't really have a good feel. I'm we were sold. We were made to believe that this Dallas vaunted defense and no one can score on them. They haven't been impressive.
No, not at all.
They have not been impressive. And the Chargers, a good offensive team, and they're at home. I don't know what kind of fucking home field advantage the Chargers
you know how well
have.
the Cowboy fans travel.
Yes, but I think there'll be a lot of points, and so I'm going with the over.
That. Yep, I'm on Dallas, and I like the over as well there. Good call. All right, we're going to take a break here in a couple seconds and come back and talk with Sam about racing, but a few things I wanted to hit on really quickly. G2E was this week in Las Vegas. It's the industry trading show and expo. Showcases all the new technology in the betting industry, sports betting, and the casino industry. So if you were out in Vegas and you saw those people around, that's what it was for. And then the IBIA, the International Biometrics Industry Association, is partnering with a data security firm called IXUP. So that's IXUP to promote a play pause, is what they're calling it, is an encryption matching network that IDs athletes trying to bet. So they're trying to help these buffoons who don't know the rules from their jobs and stopping them from betting. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting to keep an eye on. And the NCAA is lobbying for increased penalties against bettors who harass student athletes and coaches. If you do that, you're an idiot. NCAA's, you can go after them all you want, but don't go after the athletes. There's no reason to do that. I mean, unless they're from Iowa and they're cheating you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But don't do it anyway. Be the bigger person. A couple interesting bets. Caesars took $220K on the Cowboys plus 3.5 on Sunday, but that guy went to bed happy. And then DK had a guy bet $326,000 on the Packers Raiders under, and that was a winner. So good for him.
Was that 2017 or 20?
Yeah, it was 20. Yeah, it was 2016, 2017. Yeah, it was low scoring. Not very exciting as we mentioned, but we're going to talk about some things that are exciting. It's motorsports coming up next with Sam. We're down to 8 in the NASCAR playoffs. Going to get his thoughts on that. F1 is off, but they return next week to COTA, so the Circuit of the Americas. And that's going to be exciting as the United States Grand Prix. So the F1 guys are back in the States for the second time, and they'll be coming back again in November. So good stuff. We're going to take a break here on BLS, and we'll be back with Sam to talk racing and other things. It's BLS. Chris and Matt with you. We'll be right back.
Reminder, Bettor's Last Stand is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. You're watching Bettor's Last Stand.
All right, welcome back in. Bettor's Last Stand. Matt here with you. Now joined by Sam. Chris had to go to the funeral home, unfortunately. That's never a pleasant visit, but we thank him for his efforts earlier in the show. Coach out at a big pickleball tournament meeting for the Pine Room guys. We're hosting a Blazing Paddles pickleball tournament here in a few weeks. Sam, welcome to the show as always. We got baseball going on. We got hockey starting last night. NBA coming up here right around the corner, and then obviously college football, NFL, and most notably racing, NASCAR, which we're going to talk plenty about. Thoughts on the baseball series is so far. My Orioles, they just didn't have the pitching, and these days off have hurt these teams. It really is amazing. 3-7 from the teams that didn't play in the wild card series, and then the teams with the top 5 records in the league, they're 1-10, with the only win being the Braves' comeback win the other night. Speak a little bit about that. Who's looking good to you? Obviously, Texas is playing pretty good baseball. What are your thoughts overall on MLB?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I saw this morning the Orioles did not get swept one time during the regular season and first playoff series. That's baseball in a nutshell, Matt. I mean, that is baseball in a nutshell. I think the Bryce Harper play is a little over-exaggerated for, what it was. I mean, he was just trying to – I don't know. He was just taking a risk.
Yeah, no, I didn't see one thing wrong with what he did. There was no guarantees anyway that any of that works out differently. I mean, made a great play, even if he's on first base. I mean, there's no sure thing the Phillies were going to score. I think with that being the second out, I mean, I think it was worth the risk, to be honest with you, because I mean, you're taking the chances. That play doesn't get made maybe more than 1 out of 4 times probably. So I think it was fine. That's, of all the criticisms I have of Harper, that wouldn't be one.
No, I mean, he was going to score if he dropped the ball, and he would have been a genius, and then we're not talking about anything.
Exactly right.
So, but the Houston, Minnesota, as you can see here.
Yeah. Still got
some great TJ Maxx find. This will be the test, Matt, if it's me. Because I've taken down the Pirates, I've taken down the Angels,
the Marlins.
And I may take down the Twins. The Marlins, you name them, they're on my...
So you brought Buxton back. He's going to be in the lineup tonight. I don't know. That might reek of desperation.
I know. He'll get hurt.
He hasn't seen live pitching in a while, and he's DHing today.
No. And that last game, Game 3, I mean, Houston was Houston to a T.
They were.
Alvarez he was swinging it. Yeah. I mean, they got a nasty lineup. The Twins just.
Yeah, and the Houston guys, like them or hate them, you gotta give them some props. You gotta respect. They kick it into a different gear come playoff time. Even their pitchers. Christian Javier was fantastic yesterday, and all these dudes. Bregman. I mean, these guys just raised their game in the playoffs. So. Nothing you can do about that. We'll see what happens. Braves, Phillies, I think that'll probably end up going 5 games, but going to be tough for the Braves to win 2 in Philadelphia, but I think they can at least get 1. I think that'll go 5. I'd expect the Houston series may end up going 5 as well. I don't know. Thoughts? Who looks the best to you? Obviously, Texas is through. Do the Dodgers have any prayer of extending the series? It doesn't look good. Their pitching's a mess.
Yeah, on paper they have a prayer if you look at their lineup, but based off of what the play has been, I think it's the D-backs, man. I think they're good.
Yep.
I think it's time. The money doesn't get you what you think it does, and that's very evident. The Padres, Mets, Dodgers, Yankees, you name them, they're not here.
No.
I think it's starting to show its face. That's not how you spend the money.
No question about it. It's been great to have these games on. Definitely enjoying them. What's the score of the game so far? I didn't have it on in here. Anything happening?
It was nothing. It was nothing. No action yet.
All right, no action. All right, let's circle around to hockey. Penguins, same old story. Last night was I didn't even make it through the whole game, which
I didn't either.
Which I'm glad I didn't because it was just awful. I don't know. They just remind me of the same problems they've had the last couple of years. I don't see much difference. What do you think?
Yeah, not much looked different. I thought Letang looked pretty damn good.
I agree.
I don't know if Carlson being there is kind of lighting a little flame under him or something. But Carlson did weird stuff during the game. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first game. I'm not going to be one of these people that are freaking out. But
yeah.
Yeah, it didn't look much different. It really didn't.
No, I'm worried about it. I'm worried that they're going to have to fire Sullivan. I don't want to have to do it. I like him. I think he's a good coach. But this something is just not right with the pulse or the chemistry of the team. You got guys playing out of position on the power play, which I don't get. Carlson should be at the top of that blue line doing anything he wants. He should be the focal point. Everybody else should just fit into places where he wants them. I don't understand what they're trying to do there, but if that power play doesn't produce, these guys are going to take a lot of heat.
Yeah, and like he had 101 points last year, most since 92 for a defenseman. Why would you not leave him right in the position that got him 100 points? I don't know.
Yeah. And he's got better players to play with now.
Right, so he should be getting more points,
in
theory, unless I'm crazy.
No, that sounds right to me.
But like what you said about Sullivan, I think with them having that Fenway owning them, and they can just say, hey, we didn't hire you. You're not our guy. This isn't working. Yeah. Dubas can say it too because he's the new hire also. Yeah.
I think
maybe
Sullivan's going to end up being the scapegoat. And I don't really, but I will say, and you know, to be critical of him in just a small bit is he hasn't adjusted anything. He's tried to do the same thing and it's not working. And he's got to try to go back to the drawing board. At some point, he's got to say, all right, I'm either not going to play Malkin here on a power play or I'm not going to use Letang here I've got to start to try to find ways for these guys to reinvent themselves a little bit as their career goes on. But it doesn't seem like he wants to do that. And I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to win the way that they're going.
No, I agree. But it was nice to hear a little football mixed into hockey with the Fire Canada chants at the game. That's, that's like taking it a little too far.
Yeah, if you're doing that, I heard Mark Madden say that if you're doing that, just don't ever go to a hockey game again.
Don't.
Which I agree with. If you're worried about the damn Steelers, who are luckily the record they have right now, I'd be more concerned about other things, but whatever.
Yeah, ridiculous.
What a town.
These Pittsburgh fans are starting to really show how weak they really are, man.
Yeah, they definitely could be called idiots.
Mm-hmm.
The masses of them. But anyway, all right. Let's move on to more promising things, hopefully, and talk a little bit about NASCAR. And actually, let's hit on racing just as a whole really quickly. F1 was back in action last week. Qatari's Grand Prix. Max wins again. They're next up. They're at COTA in next week, which would be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. Did anything stick out to you Formula One wise last week?
Yeah, the Alfa Romeo top 10.
Yeah, how about
I mean, that I checked that 3 or 4 times to make sure I was reading that right. It's like, no way.
Typo.
Yeah, but I mean, the McLarens, Matt, I want to say it. I think they found whatever the issue was those last couple years. I think it's solved.
Yep.
Piastri seems better than Lando.
He does. I agree. He's been better, I feel like.
Yeah, so I think that was great. The Sainz DNF, that's no shocker there.
No.
That's just a Ferrari driver doing Ferrari things.
It's feast or famine for them, always. Yeah. Usually famine.
Right. I don't know if you saw this heat thing with Stroll and Albon and Logan Sargent didn't even race.
Yeah.
Or finish the race, so I thought that was a little interesting. Gotta love the human rights stuff not going on.
There's a lot of guys in that. I don't know. I don't even know what to think. I don't know where their heads are. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Lance Stroll had to worry about race car driving. He's not very good at it.
No, he's got a lot of stuff to talk about, not a lot of stuff to talk about his career for.
Yeah. His career should be ending here quickly, but it won't. Next week, COTA, that should be pretty interesting. Definitely good pick by you. You had, George Russell ran well. You expected him to run pretty well, so that was good. Your Alpine guys weren't quite as good as you had hoped for, but that's the way it's going to go. But we'll talk about that race at COTA next week. This will be the second of 3 trips to the United States for the guys as we got getting close to that Las Vegas here.
I know. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be what it's hyped up to? I certainly do not.
I don't either, but I know this thing. The locals in Las Vegas are pissed about all the stuff that is going on in that city right now. They're blaming it, and it's just like astronomical, the prices they're charging for some of the viewing points and things. So I don't know. I hate to see them do that, but I guess that's to be expected.
Yeah, I've heard the road work is terrible.
Yes.
Roads get shut down every day. I've also heard that any like restaurant or business that's along the race is getting the view blocked because they're not paying for it.
They got to pay a license. Yep. That's
now that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's tough for the city. I'm surprised they're not getting sued because I don't think they had that built into their their city ordinances that the F1 could just come in and rape their business.
Right.
That's
and
terrible.
it's funny that this is similar. I read an article yesterday about the Chicago street race that Chicago spent like $3.5 or $4 million on this thing, and they got like $620,000 out of it.
Oh boy,
it's just like, is this gonna be the same thing? Because I'm not hyped up about it at all. All I keep reading is that it's not done.
Yeah, I heard
that they're rushing.
Negative so far. And the people that live there hate it. Like they honestly, they're hoping it fails so it never comes back.
Vegas is the strip, is the casinos. That is the strip. It doesn't need to have a race there.
No, it really doesn't. They didn't need to do it. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see if there's catastrophes out there or not. But
there will be.
They will be. So, all right, let's go to the stock car boys now. We're down to 8. 8 men remain in the NASCAR playoffs as we head into Las Vegas for the second time this year. William Byron won the race, I believe the first race, the Pennzoil 400. Yeah, that was back in March. He won. He led a ton of laps, led 176 laps. Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman. So the Hendrick boys looking pretty strong here at Vegas the last time out. Joey Logano won this race last year, the South Point 400. He only led 32 laps. Ross Chastain was strong in that one. Ryan Blaney as well led 39 laps. First, let me ask you this as we head in to the final 4 races of the season. And you got Las Vegas, and then we have Phoenix, Homestead, and Martinsville, right? I think we end at Phoenix, right? I think it's Homestead, Martinsville, and then Phoenix.
Yeah, Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, so we got 4 races left. We got Truex, Bell, Buescher, Reddick, Byron, Larson, Blaney, and Hamlin in the playoffs right now. They're the guys that can win the championship. Give me your top guy. Which guy do you think? And then give me one under the radar play that maybe be worth a bet.
My top guy is William Byron.
Yeah.
In the underdog, I wanted to say it was Buescher, but I'm nervous about it now. I'm real nervous. I almost want to go with Bell.
Yeah.
As my underdog.
Yeah. I have Truex as my top. He was the one I picked from the beginning of the season. Average finish at these tracks has been about 12.82. Denny Hamlin has the best. I went through 10.95 average finish. His finishes at these tracks are very good. But I'll tell you one guy that was under the radar that has next to Hamlin, Truex, and the next best guy as far as statistically at these 4 tracks, Ryan Blaney at 13 to 1. Now, can he do it, Sam? We've questioned if he has the focus, if he's such a nice guy. Does he have it? Can he knuckle down for 4 races and really race like a killer and take this thing? Does he have a chance?
Yeah. I honestly, I think he does.
Good.
I'm not sure what is telling me that, but it's like you said. When I was looking at these numbers, Truex, Hamlin, and Reddick are all very good racers at this track. So that is great for the playoff bubble, but I really do think Blaney can get it. I know there's 4 Toyotas, 2 Chevys, and 2 Fords. I don't know if that will have any factor into it.
Right.
Oh, man. It's going to be tough. I don't want to see Larson win one. I really don't.
Yeah, in my opinion, I agree with you though. I think William Byron has been the best racer this year. So my gut says he's going to be he's listed as the favorite. He probably should be the favorite. And then you got Larson and Hamlin at short prices after that, and then a little bit of a dip down to Truex and then the rest. But I'm going to be riding. I got the bet on my boy Marty right now. I'm probably going to place a little bet on Blaney to try to see if he can't pull it off. But it also wouldn't surprise me if Denny Hamlin just uses that veteran savvy and gets it done.
He actually may be, for me, my driver of the year.
Yeah.
Because he said, I'm going to get white hot. And ever since he said that, it has been nonstop.
Yep.
In your face. He's always in the top 10s. 23-11's even been way better.
They have been. Yep. No question. The whole Toyota outfit has been strong on their side of things. I think 23-11 in the Roush the Joe Gibbs team has been, pretty formidable. But Denny, he's been the class of the class. Him and Byron, I agree, been probably the two best racers all season long. But Hendrick will be tough, man. Larson's going to be tough. He ain't going to go away.
No, he's not. He's not. But the crazy thing is, Matt, that out of all the names, we've said the name, but my winner is not anybody in the playoffs.
Oh, me either. For this race, I agree. I'm on a driver, but I'll go ahead and defer to you. Give me your guy.
I was between two, but I'm going with it. He drives for Hendrick. Alex Bowman is my winner for this race.
He was my B choice. So my top was Logano, and
you
then I
bastard!
had Bowman.
We switched ours.
Yeah. So Logano and Bowman, 1 and 2 for me.
Yep.
I thought an interesting long shot who's got pretty good results here. Really high price right now, 240 to 1. I've seen him at places. Austin Dillon. I'd say if you don't think he can win, betting to finish in the top 10. He's had some really good finishes there. And then guys, I think Truex will be strong. I think Blaney will be strong. But I agree with you. I think Logano and Bowman really good. Hendrick cars are going to be really, really tough to beat. Thought Eric Jones was worth a look too. Eric Jones has actually been running very well. He's had some bad luck now. He's crashed a couple times, but he's had good cars.
Yeah, he has. They need it too. They need somebody to do something good for him.
Yeah, get a little momentum going into next year or something. But
yeah.
Any other dark horse candidates that you're looking at?
Yeah, I got a Justin Haley and a Chase Briscoe.
I like
and both. A Chase Briscoe.
All right. I like both of those.
The Briscoe one makes me nervous because every time I bring him up, he finishes like 30th.
He has been better, though. I will say, since we beat on him, we were saying, like, he's going to lose his ride. Like, he's so bad. And he has responded to some degree, I would say.
I was just seeing a rumor yesterday that Gragson may take over the 10 car for Stewart Haas Racing.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Is Almirola finally gone this year? Is he?
I think that's what they're hitting.
Because he was going to be last year, but yeah. And he hasn't had a great season. I mean, good for him. I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but in certain tracks he's been okay. But probably time for him to move on. So no, Gragson come back. Ooh, interesting.
Maybe I don't know. Just remember the Wendy's biggie bag under the tires. That's all I think about.
That'll be etched in our minds forever. The fast food, both cars with issues in Chicago, back at the street race. Anything else stick out from the South Point 400 or this playoff swing that's about to ramp up? It's going to be depressing here in 4 weeks when it ends.
No, I can't believe that we're here. It's going to end, man.
Seems like we were just sitting in his studio talking about Daytona.
Yeah, I'm thinking we need to do the end of the season in person, too.
Yeah, we may have to do that. We may have to have – I'll say if we're able to fit it in, we should have a race viewing party, like a live stream or something. If Jubb could pull that off, that'd be kind of cool for the last race or something. But yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind if we can make it happen. All right, so let's go over to football briefly before we let you go. Anything in college or pro this week that sticks out to you? Any best bets? Anything you like? Touchdown scores or anything obscure?
So for the props for the Thursday night, we're up. I can give them to you now. I love the Sky Moore plus 290 anytime touchdown.
Okay.
And also, Mahomes can scamper and he's got legs.
Yes, he can.
He's a plus 320 anytime touchdown. Patrick Mahomes.
Like it. I like both.
I love that.
I definitely like it. Plus, I think they'll just try to run the score up on them too. I think it could get real ugly. So good calls there. Good, like them. Anything in college?
The Oregon Ducks.
Ooh, quack quack.
Plus 125.
All right.
And I can't believe I'm saying it, that I was born in the state, but the Houston Cougars are plus 125 as well. I love that. Dana needs a win. His job's on the line.
Yes.
I think West Virginia is a very overrated 4-1.
No, I agree with you. I told Chris the same thing. I think this is a bad spot for the Mountaineers. They've beat expectations so far. So this is an obvious letdown, and you're right. Holgorsen, to me, is going to be the more hungry coach here. So, yeah, that worries me. So, yeah, I think Houston makes a lot of sense there, definitely.
Yeah, and I was looking at that Miami game with it. After last week, I can't.
I can't do it. I said I really was going to like them this week, and I can't do it. I don't know how your team can continue to play for you after that.
I'm sickened by it. Every time I look at their logo now, I think, man, that coach, fuck him.
Yeah, and he had done it before at Oregon, same thing. He never learned. And, great recruiter, but he can't coach. That's a problem. So
yeah, it is a big problem.
Yeah, I don't know. That's really a punch in the stomach. It's been a rough week. Orioles, terrible. Miami, a disaster. The Penguins, terrible. What a great week to have a birthday in, huh? Jeez.
Yeah, happy fucking birthday.
Thank you. Nowhere to go but up, hopefully. But anything else on your mind? Anything else that we didn't cover? That was very comprehensive.
I don't think so. I think I need the Twins to win. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's about it. I think the Houston's heading right back to where they've been the last couple of years, man.
Sadly so. Jarrett keeps clinging to life with the Twins. He keeps trying to wish it to be, but I don't know. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. Yeah. They're going to need Johan Santana and Lariano to come pitch for him.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe bring Kirby Puckett back from the dead, too.
Yeah, might as well. It won't hurt.
Yep. All right, Sam. Thanks as always. Another great week, great insight. Enjoy the weekend, all the games in action, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Matt. Go Pens, go Bucks, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, pal. Thank you, sir.
Later.
All right, That was Sammy P. from Upper St. Clair checking in with great insight on all things racing, football, baseball, hockey. He's got it all. Appreciate everybody tuning in here today. Thanks to Chris for giving his time during a busy time of year for all of us. Remember, Blazing Paddles Pickleball on the 22nd of October at Oglebay. If you haven't signed up, get on our social media at the Pine Room Studios. You can sign up, get your teams entered in that right now. If you'd like to be a sponsor, please reach out. Contact at thepineroomstudios.com or contact at thepineroompodcast.com. I think it's still our email. So check that, or you can message us on social media if you'd like to sponsor that. It's going to be a very big event. We're pairing with the Ohio Valley Pickleball Club to put that event on. There'll be some live streaming and lots of other cool things that we're going to do up there at Oglebay. Dancing with the Stars Ohio Valley, November the 4th. That's Saturday. Soup will be participating in that. So stay tuned, and our Football Friday shows continue. Got a couple more of those left as we get down to the end here of high school football season. Playoffs right around the corner. Playoff baseball, hockey, NBA basketball about to start up. Won't be long for college basketball, about a month away from that. We got college football, NFL, a little bit of everything. Soccer on international break. Golf will be back kicking before we know it. And then hopefully Australian rules football comes sooner than later in the spring. I can't come quick enough. But anyway, that'll do it for us here. Bettor's Last Stand from the Pine Room Studios in downtown Wheeling. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, and hopefully you got some winners. Check out our social media page for all the picks each week at the Pine Room Studios and BLS_PRP. Best of luck, and we'll see you next week in the Pine Room. It's Bettor's Last Stand. Have a good one.